grew up in a small town in Montana, and during summer, my brother and I would sometimes sell lemonade by the side of the road. We didn't make a lot of money, but we did it as a fun thing, selling lemonade to people who were passing by. One hot afternoon, my brother and I were standing there at a lemonade stand. We noticed an old, rusty car pass by us 2 to 3 times. At the time, it struck me as a little creepy. Eventually, the car slowed down and stopped right in front of the stand. There was a woman in the passenger seat, and she rolled down her window. I couldn't see the man who was driving very well because he never looked at me and just stared right ahead. Both of them seemed very odd, and their clothes were kind of old and dirty. "You boys out here selling lemonade by yourselves?" said the woman. "Yeah, my mom lets us," I replied. "Is your mom home?" she asked. "Yeah, she's in the house," I said. The woman turned around and looked at the man who was driving. He nodded, still staring ahead. The woman turned back to me and said, "Okay, I'll have a lemonade." "Okay, that'll be 25 cents. She went through her purse and I could hear some coins clicking. Then she pulled out a $5 bill and held it out to me. A chill went down my spine. Why was she handing me $5 bill if she had coins in her purse? Something just didn't feel right. "I don't have any change," I lied. "You can keep the change. Just come and take it." I walked up to the car and reached out to take the $5 from her hand. The woman suddenly grabbed my wrist and began pulling me into the car. I screamed my lungs out, and my brother ran into the house, yelling for help. Somehow, I don't know how, I managed to get myself free. The car stopped and the man got out, but I was already running for my life. My brother was pounding on the door, screaming. My mother rushed out, and I just turned in just in time to see the rusty, old car speeding away. We told Mom what happened, and she called the police. When my brother and I calmed down, we went back to the lemonade stand. There was a $5 bill laying on the ground. We packed up the lemonade stand and put it away for good. Second story is called The Waiter. It's a true scary story about a young woman who goes out to a restaurant on a blind date. When my mom was young, she went out on a blind date. Her date took her to a restaurant, and although he was nice enough, she wasn't into him. Halfway through the meal, she was bored and was already thinking of excuses, so she could leave early. The waiter could tell that she was bored and kept smiling and winking at her. While my mom's date was in the restroom, the waiter approached her and started asking her if she was okay. She explained that she was on a blind date, but she wasn't having so much fun. It turned out the waiter was about to get off work. He offered to give my mother a ride home if she waited another 10 minutes. She considered it and was about to say yes, but just then her date came back from the bathroom. She shook her head, smiled at the waiter, and told him no thanks. My mom and her date finished their meals, and he drove her home. The next night, my mom just happened to be watching the evening news. There was a news flash saying a woman was found murdered behind a restaurant. She realized it was the same restaurant that she had been with her date. Then they said the police have already caught the killer. A picture flashed up on the screen. It was the waiter. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed these two stories, please give it a like and subscribe to this channel. I'll be uploading much often now with more stories in the future. See you then.